everyone hates adverts, so I don't monetize my channel. But that means it gets buried by YouTube, so if you enjoy this, I'd really appreciate you sharing it on your social media. Thanks a lot. Well, hello and thanks for joining me for some more landscape photography. Today I'm out of my natural environment and I'm over on the northeast coast of England in the lovely little fishing port of Whitby. I'm actually here on a bit of a family trip. I've brought the lovely Mrs. G Senior over here for a weekend, but I've got out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning to get myself down to the harbour front because you're in Whitby, so you have to do that sort of thing. Sun's coming up way over to the east, and of course, because of the way Whitby faces due north, that makes it slightly difficult in terms of getting any sort of sunrise within the standard twin piers picture. A little bit of colour on the horizon, but it's very early yet, isn't due up for quite a while, so we'll see what happens with that. In the meantime, I'm going to head out onto the West Pier and see if there's a shot to be had out there. Well, the sun was supposed to have put in an appearance about 5 minutes ago. It's no show at the moment, so photo pills, what are you up to? A little bit of colour on the horizon, but really nothing that's interesting me. What I have got is these absolutely fabulous cloud textures, and this is the standard Whitby shot. I'm here right out on the end of the West Pier, and I like this curve, and I prefer this pier to the other one because this curves from left to right. And I just have that kind of European sensibility of things should read from left to right. But I have got some amazing cloud formations over the top of it. So I'm running a standard little shot. I've got my built-in ND on at 3 stops, 4 seconds of exposure, just enough to take the edge off the ripple on the sea, although there isn't much sea in the shot at all. Shooting in portrait mode. Let's just grab another exposure. But there isn't really that much of interest in this shot. I love the curve of the pier, of course. I've stepped myself forward deliberately because there's a new plank in the pier here, and I didn't want that with a completely different colour to the rest of it. But it's all about the sky. Everything in this shot is all about the sky. There's a little break in it, loads of textures, just perfectly positioned above the little light tower at the end of the pier. So I'm hopeful we'll get a decent shot out of this one. I'm quite hopeful that shot earlier in Blue Hour, just over on the outer pier, will be reasonably interesting. The sky made that, but I'm struggling here now. It's a lovely spot. It just doesn't make for lovely photographs, I'm afraid. And I've seen some fabulous work from here, don't get me wrong. I'm just not up to emulating that, I guess. But hey-ho, lovely morning. So, well, I'll hang around a bit longer. I don't know what this sunrise is doing. At the moment, it's not looking promising, so I'll stick around and see what happens, of course. It's proving quite challenging here this morning. I just haven't found anything that inspired me particularly. But of course, I'm not really an urban sort of photographer, and this is urban, it's man-made structures. If I was on a rocky beach, I'd feel much more at home. But I do have a little sliver of colour in the sky, so I'm going to set up here and kind of go for a really wide letterbox pano, and we'll see how that turns out. I think that's sunrise pretty much over and done with. there was quite a nice little line of colour right on the horizon, which I might be able to make something of. I've taken quite a wide pano because I don't know exactly where I want to start and finish it, so I can think about that in post. But I really like the textures in the beautiful sandstone blocks in this sea wall over on the other side of the harbour. The little lighthouse is quite nice, and that lighthouse is shorter than the one on this side, which lends itself better because otherwise it would have been tending to get a bit too close to the top of the frame. I've swung it round to include the cliffs as well over on the other side there, but I'm not going to get as far as the Abbey up on the cliff top. It would just be too wide. But we'll see. I've been shooting at about 2.5 seconds. I don't want it to be, you know, glassy sea, but just to take the edge off the ripple, just to smooth things out a little bit. Other than that, really straightforward stuff. So f5.6. What am I shooting at? I never look at what I'm shooting at. Yeah, 25mm it turns out. So I could have stuck a prime on, but hey ho. What I'm doing here is I'm actually trialing the setup that I'm planning to take to the States with me. If you follow my channel for any length of time, you may remember that a couple of years ago I went to Norway, and one of the things about that trip was to travel as light as I could. So I just took the Pen F 9mm Leica f1.7, the teeny tiny little Lumix 35-100, and then my main lens was a 20mm prime. What I've done is I've swapped out the 20mm prime, and I'm going to take the Olympus MZeco 12-45 with me to the States because it is quite a bit more flexible. But it's about the same size as the 20mm f1.4 prime, so gives me more bang for my buck in terms of lugging stuff across on a flight. I think I'm all done here, if I'm honest. Time to go and meet up with the lovely Mrs. G Senior for breakfast. But I've struggled a bit this morning, but I still really enjoyed it. It's actually getting quite busy now. 7 o'clock in the morning, the dog walkers are here, the fishermen are here, so that's my signal to make my exit. But however this turns out, I'm going to share it because when I started the channel back in 2017, I said it was going to be a bit warts and all. So, you know, this isn't necessarily about, oh, you've got to get great images in order to justify a video. As far as I'm concerned, it's just for me to remember the fun I had out with my camera. And if you enjoyed it too, well, that's great. So leave it there for this one. Thank you ever so much for joining me. Really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, why not subscribe and join me next time. Cheers.